Alright, the P-Base is back on the bench again, and what I'm doing is adding a little bit more padding behind the pickup itself. Now, as you can see, I have the cover off. I didn't do any shielding. Really didn't have to. This thing doesn't make any noise. I'm not getting any type of hum, buzz, or anything else from it as far as plugging it into the amplifier. So I didn't bother shielding it. There's a little bit of shield on the back pick guard, but that's fine. Now, the problem that I'm having with this was that the pickups themselves are kind of loose inside of these covers because they're sit on an angle, and because I had to raise these up as high as I have them, the pickup was actually moving. I could push down on the pickup and it's moving inside of the covers. The stock ones weren't doing that, so I could raise them higher and low, whatever I want to do with them, and not have any problems. This one here is a little bit of a different story. And because of the thickness of the padding that is on the stock pickups and what the Seymour Duncans come with, I have to add a little bit more. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I'm going to try to focus this thing in as much as possible on this. Alright, so if I can hold it steady, and if you can look down inside of here at the foam that is underneath the pickup, it's not even touching the body of the guitar. It's not even compressed at all. This side is not. So if I sit there and I take this screwdriver and go on the top of the pickup and push down on it, you can kind of see it's wiggling. This side here, it's pretty much compressing the padding that's in there. So I have to add a little bit more padding to it. Not that big of a deal. I've already added some padding to the bridge pickup, so that one is basically done. Focus, you bastard. There you go. The pickup is basically done on the bridge. Added a little bit more because I had to raise this thing up in order to get the two to sound when I switch over from one pickup to the other pickup. This was a little quieter, so I'm raising it up a little bit. Makes it a little bit more louder. These guys here were okay, but I don't like how the pickup is wiggling around inside of the pickup cover, so I'm going to add a little bit of foam to it. Now, some of you guys were saying that the foam that comes in the packaging, which is this stuff here, is good enough to do this, but to me this is not as dense as the stuff that comes with it and can compress very easily with no effort at all. So what I'm using is, you can get this at any auto parts store, is basically weather stripping. Again, any auto parts store, home improvement store, you can get it any width, thickness, and density. So if you want something a little bit softer, you can actually get something that's a little bit more padded. This might be just a little bit too stiff for what I'm using it for, but you can cut this down to any size that you want. There is an adhesive on one side of it, and it's just a shiny coating on the other. There's no adhesive on there. And again, you can cut this down to any size you want. You can even trim it down if it's too wide. Just make sure you cut it pretty much straight. Now what I'm going to do with this is, since this side of the pickup and this side of the pickup is basically compressed down, this side and this side here are basically not even touching the body of the guitar. So I'm going to end up putting just a small strip on this side and a small strip on this side, and that'll kind of naturally give the pickup a tilt. As long as the pickup is straight inside the body and it's not crooked or leaning back, or leaning forward, you should be alright. So far everything's pretty good. Like I said, I'm not going to bother shielding this thing because I'm not getting any funky noises. I don't think it's really going to bother anything. I've got fluorescent lights above me and I'm not getting any noise. I'm not going to bother replacing the strings either. These are new strings. I just put them on when I first set this guitar up. So I'm going to reuse them. And a good way to tie them back without removing them, just get a piece of string and just tie all the strings together. Put some type of a weight on the string over here and you're good to go. I got to do some plumbing work over here on a filtration system for water supply, and I have to do a little bit of work here. So I've got the hose cutters or pipe cutters here, and yeah, fun stuff. So anyways, that's about it. So this is what the inside of a Squire looks like.
so that's done. All I had to do is add a little bit more of weather stripping to the bottom of the pickups. Not that much at all, probably about a ½ inch worth on one side of the pickup only. And the reason why I only did one side of the pickup is because these guys sit on an angle, and this side was already compressed, this side was not. So when I go to adjust the pickup height again, I'll be able to have a little bit more room for adjustment, and the pickup won't be loose inside of its covers. This one's already been done. It's pretty good now, and yeah. So when you put your pick guard back on, you want to make sure that no wires are sticking out or going to get pinched around the control area, because I left basically all the wire that came with these pickups. I didn't shorten them up. Kind of a good idea to do, because if you ever want to decide to take them out again and put them in something else later on down the line, at least you still have the same amount of wire that you started with. This way the wire won't be short, and you'll be able to use it in different applications. So there you have it. I'm done, and I'm going to string it up, tune it up, and check everything to make sure everything is working properly. And yeah.